And structurally evil. We're going to start about the definition of evil. In the evil concept, there are two big concepts. There's the broad concept and the narrow concept. Under the broad concept, there is natural evil and moral evil. The natural evil means the evil things we have in our normal life, which we can't change. Examples are like a disease, like an headache, or if you fall and you hurt your leg or something, that hurts, but you can't do nothing about it because that's just a natural thing that we can't change. Then there's the moral evil. That is when you have the intention to hurt someone or something evil. For example, if you steal from a person because you don't like the person you steal from. It can be all kinds of evil. Even small thing like lying or shouting out cuss words. That's a morally evil because that's something that's morally wrong to do and something a human being can choose to not do because that's not the right thing to do.
And that's the narrow concept. And in the narrow concept, there's no natural evil because only human beings can do narrow evil, and it's moral evil. And it's when a moral agent makes a choice which is a condition wrong. For example, terror or torture is morally evil, and I think it fits the narrow concept.
The everyday evil. What is everyday evil? Everyday evil is the kind of evil we have every day in our normal life. It's not something big like killing a person or hurting someone. It's more like the psychologically evilness we do. By example, if you go to school and we bully a person, we're like not hurting the person physically, but we're hurting him psychologically. One of the example of everyday evil is like internet trolling, a person who gets like discriminated on Facebook, or revenge porn is actually also a definition of the everyday evil. Then we have this case, the cyberbullying case, which we had in our English lesson, where we read about an anonymous boy who was like jealous of this girl because she got attention in the school by cutting and self-harming herself, and this person like start to bullying the girl on a social media, and this social media was called Ask FM, and in this social media you could like write questions and cause the person without the person knowing who did it, because you can hide your name, so they will get these questions, but they will get it from an unknown person.
Like an anonymous person.
Yeah, and in this case, the boy like thought that the girl was self-harming herself because she wanted this attention that the boy wasn't getting. So this guy got like angry or mad on the girl, so he started dissing her every day and every night, and until this girl started disappearing in school and not starting to show up. This boy then started feeling bad because he thought that he was the main reason that the girl wouldn't show up in school, and then he finally found out that the girl was having a really hard time and was trying to do suicide. The boy felt bad but didn't wrote sorry. In this case, it's an example of how the everyday evil is. It's not something that you like do to kill a person or to like hurt him physically, but it's something that you do it with intentions
to hurt the person,
but not in a
physical way.
Yeah, but in a psychologically way, and it's something that can happen every day. Like lying to your mom is a everyday evil, or like bullying someone in school is everyday evil, or something like that.
The case 2, it's about a revenge porn, where a young girl and the definition of a revenge porn is when a nude picture or video is shared on the internet only for the humiliation of the person appearing in the video or picture and without their permission. And we had a case about a girl where she in the video, some boys were doing sexual stuff to her, and then it got shared to friends, and then after that on the internet, and she didn't give her permission to do it. And it's criminal to share a video without the permission, and it's morally wrong to share it. And we had a quote which it tells about that somebody is not innocent if they shared the video, and its sharing of the video is an ethic action, and is something that young people should know. And it's like if you post sex tapes of your ex on the internet.
Or not just your ex, but if you have some nude pictures of a girl or a boy or something where they, in the video don't feel safe, they feel like, how can you say it? in the tape they feel like honored in the tape, not feeling safe, not feeling very great, violated in the tape, and you share this tape, that is a revenge porn tape.
Yeah.
Then we have the structural evil. Under the structural evil, there is the bad barrel effect that we will explain later. Then we have the Lucifer effect,
which is a transformation from a good person doing good things to extraordinary evil things. And it's like I think Dr. Heikel and Mr. Hyde theory, where he's a doctor and then at night he transformate into a bad person.
Yeah. Before we start explaining what the bad barrel is, we have this quote that says, "Before we blame individuals, the charitable thing to do is to first find out what the situation they were in that might have provoked this evil behavior. Why not assume that these good apples in a bad barrel rather than bad barrels in a good apple?" And what is meant by this quote is, these people that are evil, instead of just looking at them evil, let's look at a wider picture. How did they get evil? Are they the bad apples, or
the
were
environments,
they or were they the good apple who just turned bad because they lived in a barrel with only bad apples? Now we're going to explain how the bad barrels work. Under the bad barrels, there's two types: the individual who affects the structure, and the structure who affects the individual. Under the individual who affects the structure, there's an old saying that one bad apple can spoil the whole bad barrel. The focus is placed on how the actions of one individual can have a bad impact on other individuals in the social structure. It's like how example of this is like how one bad person can affect the whole society to go being bad. Like if you live in a country with one leader who is like a bad leader, who's an evil leader.
He's a bad apple.
Yeah, but this bad leader does some things that is very bad, and then the population starts start thinking that it's the right thing to do, and he starts to allow evil things to happen. Then the population will think that these kind of evil things is okay. Then we have the structural evil who affects the individual, and when focusing on the bad barrel, the focus is placed on how a social structure can have a bad impact on the individual inside it. And in this case, you can look of the prison experience we had with this Abu Ghraib, where the leaders in that prison allowed the other military soldiers to torture and do humiliate, and and this they did a lot of bad things to the prisoners.
They manipulated the other persons and told them, and because they were in this environment, they didn't know what was morally right or wrong.
Yeah, they thought actually that the thing that they were doing was a good thing they did, because they
saw themselves as heroes because of the anti-Arab and the anti-Muslim culture, where they were like, these prisoners, we can do whatever we want to them, and like that.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have this case, a class divided case, where we also took this case up in the class, and in this case it's a teacher who will like to create this bad society in class. It was one day after Martin Luther King was murdered in April 1996. Elliot, the teacher, decided to teach her class a daring lesson in the meaning of discrimination. She wanted to show the kids in the class what discrimination feels like and what it can do to people. So she started splitting up the class with the brown eyes on this side and the blue eyes on that side, and told them that only the brown eyed people are the good people, and she cussed the blue eyed people, saying, "You are the bad people, blue eyed people can't do this, can't do that, brown are better," like that. And so the kids in class started thinking that what this teacher said, because she was the authority in class, that it was the right thing she said. You can see in that class, 2 days after this happened, the kids already thought that what the teacher said was the right thing. So the children start cussing each other, dissing the blue-eyed people. The brown-eyed people saw down on the blue-eyed people because they got told that the blue-eyed people are not as good as them, and they started doing fights with each other because they wanted to be like the other persons. The brown-eyed people starting causing the blue-eyed people, and the blue-eyed people,
Discriminated.
like they like looked up to the brown-eyed people. They want to be like them because they got told that the brown-eyed people is the good people and the blue-eyed is the bad people. And this shows how the bad barrel, the structure affects the individual, because if there's a structure saying that you are the bad people and these are the good people, you will like start to think about, okay, maybe I'm a bad person because I'm like, I have this color or something, and then you're trying to be good, and that can only happen if you live in a bad barrel, in an environment where these kind of thing is allowed and you're told that that is the way to live.
And then we learned about the Stanford prison, which is an experiment, was a study of the psychological effects of becoming a prisoner or a prison guard. And before they chose these participants, they tested them psychologically about after some test or something. And 24 of them were good apples, and they were healthy and psychologically stable. And then 12 of them were prison guards, and 12 of the half was prison guards, the half was prisoners. After they were in this environment for 14 days, the prison guards started to exploit their power, and they started to manipulate the prisoners. They started to torture them, and they started to violate them, and like they had to do push-up, and these push-up that they had to do, it reminds of the Nazi in Second World War, where the soldiers were like, you have to do push-ups to the Jews. And then it told about like the prisoners started to acting crazy, and they started to like not be the same people as they were before. And it tells about like how the bad barrel and the environment of this, like this was a prison, and it was only acting, like they knew that it was only acting, but after they were isolated, they didn't have contact to the world. It were only in this prison, and it started to affect them. Like the prisoners were crazy,
and the gods like started actually believing that they are gods, and they start doing some evil thing to the prisoners because they thought, we are the high authority, we are the gods, those are prisoners, they are bad people, we are the good people, so we can do what we want. And because they didn't have a man like guiding them or teaching them what is wrong and what is right, so all the acts they did was something that they thought was right in their consciousness, and that because maybe they are getting used to the higher authority, like looking down on the lower authorities, and they thought that in this case they were the high authority, so they did this kind of stuff. And then we're gonna assume everything we learned in this structurally and
everyday
evil. Me myself, I started out with, before we started this theme of evil, I thought evil was like one definition: you can be evil or you cannot. After learning like this experience, I have learned that the evilness has a lot of definitions, a lot of different types of evil. There's like the bad evil, there's the structurally evil, the everyday evil, and there's the moral evil and the natural evil. Like there's a lot of kind of evil. There's the evil with the attentions, and there's the evil without the attentions.
And it tells about like if somebody does something evil, they don't know it, or maybe like if you're like in an environment where it's normal to do these things, you don't think it's like morally wrong. And we learned about the depravity scale, which it helps court systems to like
judging the convicts. Like we had a case
how
with,
evil they are.
we had this case with this mother to 4 children, like where she drowned all the children. But she didn't do it like because she enjoyed to kill the kid. She was stressed. She was having a hard time. She didn't know what was right and what was wrong.
And she admitted that she was like, I killed my kids.
Yeah,
but I didn't do it with the intention to be evil.
And then there's a like example when the Anders Breivik, who just killed these 20. He killed a lot of children. I can't remember the precisely. Yeah, but
a terrorist.
And then that's why we have the depravity skill to like judge these people. How bad was the act, and was that the attention? What did they enjoy killing? Did they not? And to judge the people. So I will say that this was a very exciting.
Exciting experience and very learning, and you got to like learn new definitions and different types, and now we know like the difference between everyday evil or structured evil, and that's that.
And we want to say thank you